And we're back. Another Mike and Mike's off-air podcast. Mike O'Neill, afternoons, the new My 97.5.
That would make me Mike Pesto, taking care of you every single morning on the new My 97.5, 6 to 10.
Yeah.
And appreciate you spending some time with us today, watching, listening. If you do watch on our YouTube channel, don't forget to subscribe to YouTube. Click follow, all the little bells and whistles and things, and that helps the algorithm and blah, blah, blah.
And we appreciate it. Thanks for checking us out.
So it hasn't happened yet. Tomorrow morning, so Wednesday morning, the 14th, Todd Spielman from Spade Entertainment, he announced, or whoever runs their socials announced about a week or so ago, they've got this big announcement coming up at 8 o'clock. They're going to mention a handful of artists coming to Adventist Health Amphitheater in Tulare this season. And I thought, you know what? Can't hurt to reach out to him. I mean, worst he could say is no, and find out if he wants to come in and make the announcement live on the air with us. He said, sure, I'll do that. And there's at least one, maybe two shows I'll announce with you that we're not going to announce on our socials. So if you listen in Wednesday morning, you will get the absolute exclusive on a couple of them, and they'll post them on their socials later.
And based on my attending the Starship show,
Yeah.
the Toad the Wet Sprocket show, I'm ready. It's a great venue, and yeah, bring me great artists, please.
Yeah,
please.
it sounds great with one caveat, with Sixpence None the Richer. I forget the lead singer's name, but her microphone was just out of whack that night.
Yeah, whoever was driving the soundboard, drunk driving that night.
Yeah. Everything else sounded phenomenal, so it's not the venue, obviously. Maybe it's just the way she, as an artist, wants it represented, but as an audience member, it didn't work all that well.
Yeah, she started really low, and then she was way up here, and right about when she got around to There She Goes, and she was on her way right after.
And then she was gone.
I'll take irony for 200 of
But
it.
I thought with that in mind, because I'm sure we've been doing this long enough, talking about music, working with music, that we have, in our minds at least, the most overrated artists, groups, maybe even songs of all time. So I messaged you before we got rolling, about a half hour or so. So you got your list. I got mine over here.
Keeping in mind how absolutely opinionated.
Yes.
And I mean, what I think, what you think, none of us are right. And I've told some of my sons-in-law, don't tell me this music is bunk music and this is the good music and that's the crap music. All music is valid. What I like is what I like. What you like is what you like. But however, let's proceed.
I like that. So back when I used to work at an oldie station in San Francisco, KYA, this song almost always made the list of most overrated or worst songs of all time. Richard Harris's MacArthur
really?
Park.
Really?
Hate, loathe that song. He can't sing.
That's not
It's
on my list.
It's an interesting song. Donna Summer does the disco version of it.
Right.
In hearing that, I can respect it lyrically. But when he sings it, what the hell are you doing?
Well, it was a huge hit, man.
Which, again, that's why I say overrated, because in my world, complete waste of whatever they pressed that on back in the day.
Well, that's pretty much how I felt about Rock Me Amadeus. How that ever got on the air and was number one for 1,000 weeks blows my mind. Because Rock Me Amadeus, no, I'm not gonna.
See, I loved that song from Falco. Another one that he had was Vienna Calling.
Yeah.
Love that one. Another one, Jenny, which he also sang in Austrian, but then I heard the English version of it. Sucks.
I only knew the first one, not the other two. I don't know. I'm trying to think of the name of this song. It was, I just remembered it. You'd have to be my age to remember this one.
Okay.
It was called Hocus Pocus Focus. It was basically instrumental. Wah, 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 wah. Just over and over again.
Okay.
But then they got to the hook, if you will, and it was a guy yodeling. And it went to number 1 that year.
I'm going to have to look that one up. And
Hell overrated.
And, yeah, compare it to MacArthur Park. Here's another one. This one, keep in mind, I'm saying overrated, not terrible. MacArthur Park is terrible, in my opinion. But Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah. Overrated, in my opinion. Because, again, not the greatest vocalist in the world. Great song, lyrically, emotionally, emotive.
It's
Absolutely.
so many weddings.
But his version of it, like
Yeah.
Pentatonics has a great version of it where it's just as emotive. But guess what? They can sing. He can't.
They have a great version of everything. Really do.
So that was another one of the songs. Again, don't hate that one, loathe it as much as MacArthur Park, but yeah, think that Leonard Cohen's version of Hallelujah.
Achy Breaky Heart has to be on the list, dude.
It does.
Has to be on the list.
I see, and I wonder.
I love you, Billy Ray. God bless you, and I'm glad you made a career out of it. But oh my good God! And that was one of the first country songs that was number one for an extended period of time. And ironically, when I first started in country, I was on the air on K-Jug for the first time when Achy Breaky was number one for like the 1,000th week or whatever, like the what was it, the 9th or 10th week or whatever it was. And I was like, this thing's just not going to die.
And as long as you were on that format, it may have been number one to the day you got off the air.
Well, and it was one of those songs where in radio, when a song's a big hit, when it's finally done, you put it in another category called recurrent, where it plays a lot less and more often. That was a song like Rock Me Amadeus that was like, nope, all done, and you just didn't recur it. We didn't play that again on K-Jug for a couple of years.
That is one. I don't know if you heard the old urban myth about the little boy who that mom and dad didn't think he was able to walk, and the song came on the radio, and he actually it was a TV. Walked over to the TV because he heard it playing. Just turn it off.
Nice.
I don't know how much truth there is to it, but that's the urban myth about it.
That's when you know it's a bad song. How about overrated bands?
Okay, so I've got 5 on my list I came up with. I'm not sure how many you.
6.
6. All right. Well, you go first then.
Nickelback. Don't love them. Don't love them a lot.
Here we go.
For me, they're very, very. I mean, they're technically sound. They sing well. They play well, but they're so formulaic. So formulaic.
Please remember you said that when we get to my number 1 when it comes to formulaic. But I like Nickelback. How and why they became the most hated group in the world, which they did. If you look up a list anywhere on Yahoo or Google, most hated bands of all time. In fact, Ranker.com, I think they're still at number 1.
I don't hate them. I just think they're overrated.
And I think maybe that's why so many people hate them is because they got to a point so quickly. Because Silver Side Up, I think, came out. Strangely enough, ironically enough, coincidentally enough, that song came out September 11th, 2001. That album, Silver Side Up. And I think we all know what happened on that day. So maybe that has something to do with it. But there were some great songs on that album. And then the next album after that, and they just kind of blew up so quickly after that. I think a lot of people thought they haven't put in their dues yet. There's a great documentary about them on Netflix. If you get a chance to see it, watch that. You realize, yeah, they paid their dues all right.
For me, every single song sounded the exact same. And just, I mean, that's what I meant by formulaic.
All right. I get that. Remember when we get to my number 1.
Yeah, okay.
Here's what I can't see you disagreeing with me on. Oasis.
Right on the list.
Thank you. All right, so we both talk about that. I
can name maybe one Oasis song.
Wonderwall.
That's the one. Wonderwall's the one.
Yeah.
Beyond that, and everybody always spoke of them like they were the rock prophets of their 90s.
And by everyone, you also mean them because they have decried themselves the greatest band of all time. When you go that far out of your way to sing your own praises, not just in your own little circle, but throughout the collective music sphere, calm down because you're not that.
And they were an MTV darling when I was like, I just don't get it. Just don't get it.
Got another
You're
one?
not going to like another one.
Oh, no.
At least I don't think you are. Okay. I understand they're very talented, but I just was never into the Dave Matthews Band.
I don't disagree with you on that. Brilliant musicians, but I never really got them either, personally.
It's like, you guys have been bummed out for 9, 10 albums now. And although, you want to hear a good wedding story?
Yeah.
I played, God, I can't think of the name of the song now, one of their biggest hits. Oh, I played for a bride and groom's first dance song. You're going to roll your eyes.
Okay.
The Space in Between was their first dance song.
Okay.
And I'm like, do you know the song, bro? Do you know what that is? And he goes, let me tell you, and this is what you have to say.
Uh-huh.
This is how the bride and groom felt before they met each other. After they met each other,
Okay.
their happily ever after began.
So
With that setup, it made sense.
Yeah.
But if I just played that as the first dance song, they would have been looking at me like, did you push the wrong button, man?
yeah, unless you know them and know their backstory, you need that little
But
information
that's
ahead
cute.
of time.
In,
yeah.
in those terms, it's cute. Other than that, it's like worst first dance song ever.
Here's another one I kind of put, again, overrated, still good in my opinion. I've got some that I can't stand here. Coldplay. That's another like Dave Matthews Band. Okay, but why? Whenever they go on tour, people lose their minds
Yeah.
to see that.
I
I
actually
don't
like
get
them.
it.
I
don't.
actually like them a lot.
Okay. Well,
They have a lot of different sides that I like. And there's one song. What was that extra track on the one album? That's my favorite song by them, and I can't think of the name of it right now. But I literally put that in my wedding dinner mix,
Ooh,
and it
okay.
lives there because my daughter loved it too.
the fact that they will forever go down as the Kiss Cam band. That I kind of like.
I got two because they're kind of similar.
Okay.
And I'm gonna make a lot of people mad right now. The Grateful Dead /
Wow.
Fish.
Yeah, you kind of. I see why you put them in the same category.
Grateful Dead, I can name 4 songs, probably 5 songs
Uh-huh.
that I'm familiar with. Fish, 0.
Uh-huh.
But people flock to them. Their fans flock to them, just like the Dead's
Yep.
the Dead's fans flock to them. And there was a time when Deadheads would follow them anywhere.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Religiously,
bands
yeah.
kill for that kind of a following. But let's just
As far as studio musicians, again, kind of formulaic, at least with Grateful Dead. I'm familiar with Fish, but I don't know that if you've played a Fish song for me right now,
Yeah.
I don't know that I could tell you, oh, that's Fish.
Their thing was being a live jazz band. They didn't play the songs like the albums. That was the thing. They got
Okay.
out there and they just jammed, and that's what they did. And they, people, their fans were laced up out there, and
Yes, they were.
followed them right along. And that's why they went. But that wasn't for me.
I got Guns N' Roses on my list.
I was afraid you might.
And I have Guns N' Roses on my list because of the story that was told when VH1 had Behind the Music years ago. Metallica told the story. This is when Metallica was opening for Guns N' Roses. And there was a pyrotechnics accident that took place on stage. And James Hetfield was
Right.
severely burnt.
It was awful.
And I think I want to say it was Vancouver where it happened. And James or someone went to Axl and said, listen, we had a major issue. We can't go on. Can you guys take the stage earlier than usual, maybe play a little longer than usual? They refused.
Wow.
Huge.
I remember that.
Event took place at the stage with fans rioting, basically, took to the streets, and the whole time Axl, the story is that he basically sat there on his throne. He had this big chair that looked like a throne, smoking a cigarette and loving the fact that he was kind of the cause of all that mayhem. Because of that, and I never got into them.
Well,
again, decent musicians, but again, overrated.
It's a podcast. It's not the radio. Axl's a dick. That's the problem. Very talented. He can still sing. But what I said's not wrong.
No, not from everything I've
I don't
heard
think he is as much of one as he was.
I was just going to say that.
I think they're 4 very grateful humans now that are playing, kind of like where the Eagles ended up.
Okay.
For a while, they just freaking hated each other.
Uh-huh.
But I remember seeing the Eagles in Fresno when they came through for that final tour, and it was just 5 or 6 guys, sober as judges, happy as hell to be able to be together and not hate each other. And there was a very definite, and we get to play this stuff every night.
Yeah.
And it was just being grateful. Gratefulness was in the room, and I think they are now too. But not back then. He was the biggest star in the world, and just ask him. He'll tell you.
Who else you have on your list?
This is the one that will cause the most problems. I know, and Nirvana. They are one of those bands.
We need to step outside.
No, that's one of those. But that's one of those bands. They were talented. They were good. They've got some great songs. But the reason they're on my list is I didn't like the fact that the lead singer was elevated to martyrdom status when he passed.
I get that.
And that's my reason.
I can never have them in that category for me because when I moved out of our home to go to San Francisco State, that's when that album Nevermind dropped, and Smells Like Teen Spirit was everywhere.
I remember how huge that song was.
I remember literally walking through the dorms, and my dorm room was the farthest one from the elevators, and it was the top floor, and I could hear Smells Like Teen Spirit coming from everyone's dorm room as I was walking past. It was just at different points in the song until I got to my room. It was everywhere. So it was that, and it changed. That music changed so much. It was the glam rock up until then, with Guns N' Roses to a certain degree, and the hair bands like Bon Jovi were, and that was a seismic shift. Alice in Chains was doing that before them, and Pearl Jam was doing it before them, but they were the ones that really for whatever reason, with that album in particular. So I get you're thinking on it, but for me,
that song, I do remember I was doing high school dances back then, age difference, and I wasn't allowed to play that song at the high school dances because every time I did, they would mosh and slam. And you can't do that at a high school dance.
That's all they did in the video.
And I remember the one time ago, the gal who was in charge came and said, "Yeah, you can play it tonight." And I said, "Are you sure?"
Do you want me to sign a waiver?
And I said, if it goes sideways, I'll dump it down. And said, "Guys, we got to stop or I'm turning it off," which worked.
Okay.
But it was like, God dang, man. Yeah, and it was just that where the drums hit and the guitar comes in. Bam, people were just off.
I've gone down deep dives about their music and how creative it was, especially with that album in particular, and how much Kurt Cobain wanted to be a newer version of the Beatles. If you hear some of the earlier stuff off of Bleach, you definitely hear that. There is a lot of Beatles influence in the writing style and the music style. And they changed a bit with their final album, which was produced by the same guy who produced a lot of the Pixies stuff, if you're familiar with them.
Well, I was glad that the Foo Fighters came out of that and have had a longevity success.
See, and that's one I would say the Foo Fighters are overrated because they came from Nirvana and I'm sorry, Foo Fighter fans, they're no Nirvana. I got two more, and I'm thinking at least one of these two will ruffle your feathers. ZZ Top.
Think they're overrated? Have you seen them live?
No. And no interest. That's it. Nothing that I've heard from them really seems like it warrants the attention that they've gotten.
They're just a great jamming. I like them for the reason I like Blue Oyster Cult. They're a great live jamming band, and they can play it exactly like it's on the record and extend it live.
Okay.
They're really good at what they do. Very good blues rock musicians.
Yeah, for me, maybe it was because, again, when I first got exposed to them, it was Legs, and it was that album, and I'm like, are they trying to be a rock band that combines pop with what they're doing? I might appreciate some of their older stuff before they had some pop influences. I heard this story a couple different places that when Depeche Mode really started hitting it huge, they talked with the guys from Depeche Mode about, okay, what are you guys doing that's resonating so much with fans, and what can we do to incorporate some of that? So with that album that Legs was on, they went for a more produced type sound, and maybe that's why I'm not a fan, because, all right, pick a lane. Either be a rock band or be a pop band, and that album in particular was, okay, They're right now in the middle of the road, and that's no good for anybody.
I think they did. They're just who they are. They're just who they are, and I just think they're a good blues band.
Do you have
Blues rock
another
band.
on your list? Because I know it took one of yours, but
I
have one more on mine.
Formats. Only because I've met them, and
uh-oh.
Travis Tritt, don't come after me. But you were such a butthole when I met you
Well, he's a little guy anyway.
that he's not.
He'd be looking up to you.
Well, he was. He just was very, very, very impolite and and I had the same exact experience with the lead singer of Sawyer Brown, Mark
Okay.
Miller. His buddy, the keyboard player, was the nicest guy I've ever met. But they were very.
And because of that, you can't appreciate that. And then
I don't want
it's
to be
interesting
around them.
how it gets
They're
that
so rude.
You have that experience with someone personally, you can't appreciate their music anymore. And
No,
I
it
and I
ruins it.
get that.
It kind of ruins it. I mean, I do try. I try to live by trust the art, not the artist. But sometimes, if the experience is enough, you're like, heck with him.
I felt that way about Toby Keith for a while because the first time I ever went backstage for what has now become known as a cattle call meet and greet was a Toby Keith show at Shoreline Amphitheater, Mountain View. And it was literally, and if you're just listening to this, you're going to miss it, but there was a room of people in one part of this building, and then Toby Keith was in another. And it was literally lean in, picture, lean out, lean in, picture, lean. That was it. You got 5 seconds with Toby Keith, and you were all but told, don't talk with him because he has a lot of people to get to.
Yeah.
Which is the exact opposite of what a Garth Brooks does. He gets that down to a small core of group of people that he meets with. It's nowhere near the quantity, but it's the quality of time you get to spend with him. I've never met Garth Brooks, but I've heard about his meet and greets.
I have.
And you get time with him. He interacts with everyone in that meet and greet.
It depends on the night. The difference between country and rock in terms of meet and greets and such, country artists know that they're going to have to spend time with the listeners because they've come to expect it.
Well,
Almost
Toby
every
Keith.
single show, even our free concerts on K-Jug, the artists know there's going to be an after because that's the difference. I mean, a lot of the rock guys, they're in the limo and gone, and that's the difference between the two.
The funny thing is I met Toby Keith years later in Las Vegas during an ACM week, and nice guy, couldn't have been nicer, and I've heard nothing but great things about him, but that meet and greet cattle call always left a bad taste in my mouth because there were so many fans who that was the first cattle call they'd ever done like that, and they're like, that's it. Here's my Polaroid picture, and now I go back to my seat.
I've seen both sides of that. I understand. I also know the difference between when an artist has a bad night or they're exhausted and so they have a bad meet and greet. Mm-hmm. 3 out of 4 of the one artist I mentioned was just crap, and so that's why I know with this one artist.
And
I met Faith Hill on the first Soul to Soul tour here in town, and she had about 100-degree temperature that night.
Oh man!
And she was a love to everyone in the meet and greet, and then went on stage and friggin' blew it up.
Wow!
And then she went to the bus and probably died, but you could see her glowing. She was sick.
Yeah, I'm
But
hoping
she was an absolute sweetheart.
I'm hoping with Toby that was maybe the last meet and greet he did like that enough people got back in his ear and said, hey, I get you want to hit as many people as possible, but let me scale back a little bit.
Being somebody in recovery, I want to throw a big up shout out to John Michael Montgomery, who at one point in his career was he let's just say he was drinking a lot, and it started to affect his play. I saw him at the Tulare County Fair. When was it? Like 5-6 years ago now, when he came back. They came back through the Tulare County Fair. He was out there. He was sober as a judge and amazing. He played, because he's a great guitarist, played beautifully, sung those songs, made me cry with the one I can't think of the name of right now, where the kid's talking to God. But anyway.
Oh, yeah.
But wow. Go John Michael. So happy for your recovery because you are a good artist, and that's the look I'm glad we got to see that look from you, John.
I'd love to end it on a positive note, but I've got one last one on my list. And since you mentioned formulaic, I'm going back to this branch, AC/DC.
Really?
Okay, you argued formulaic. They only know 3 chords. Listen to their lyrics. It's all anthem rock. I mean, they're the most formulaic rock band of all time. If you're not a
Yes.
fan of formulaic, you can't be a fan of AC/DC.
But they're just so fun live.
But formulaic, yes. Come on, you have to admit that.
But some of the best songs to scream live.
And if you've
ever
heard one,
written.
you've heard every single one of them.
Yes and no.
There's so many times I think in the intro of one of their songs, I'm thinking I'm listening to one song, and then it gets a little bit into it. Oh, no, that's this one. Oh, no, it's actually... So many of their songs start off almost exactly the same, with the same exact length on the intros, with guitar licks. It's not till you get till some of the vocals that you realize, okay, I know what song they're playing now. But boy, yeah.
I'll be damned if I can think of the name of the song, but Bon Scott's bagpipes on the one song that I can't think of the name of right now. That's one of the best moments in rock. I loved that so much.
Yeah.
Why can't I think of the name of that? I'm getting old.
So if you have any that make your list, or if you want to argue with any of ours, please do, especially on YouTube. Would love to see some comments on this one. And, yeah, AC/DC. Give us something new.